even know how to possibly top what these coaches have provided for us tonight, and so much valuable information and so many things that I just want you to be able to take with you. And for Michaeline, what are you doing back there?
Where's your face? Where's your face?
Okay, so while she's trying to figure out how to open the wine, is that what's going on?
It's like loud. I think she just.
I don't know. I'm not really sure what's going on. But so when I was thinking about this training, and I was just thinking about, getting together with local coaches in the area and what they needed and, what we were really, really good at, what we could focus on, I just kept coming back to the idea of what our team has become in 3 years. When I started coaching, I had no idea what this was going to become. 3 years ago, I was teaching full-time in the school building right there. And I didn't have any desire to really leave it. That's what I went to school for. That's what I enjoyed doing. I liked the classroom. I liked what I was doing in there. I didn't think it could ever become what it has become. But what I'm really proud of with our team and what makes us so different and what Beachbody has very much recognized with me as so different is how we are as people. What I'm proud of mostly is that we are a team of heart. I think back to everything I went through last year, and I know that some of you are newer and aren't sure what I'm talking about, but last year I had the battle in my life, and it would have been extremely easy for me to say, I'm gonna stop. And everybody in this room would have been like, yeah, I would too. Like, I get it, I totally get it. But I think that's why I really want to talk to you about the second part of this equation. Not yet. The second part of this equation is, with heart has to come some hustle when it comes to this business. With people like us who have so much heart, sometimes that can get in the way of the hustle. We want to please everyone. We want to help everyone. We want to inspire everyone. And we certainly do not want to offend anyone. So instead of even taking the chance of asking somebody, we shut down and we say, I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want them to think I have ill intent. Guys, you aren't going to, because that's not you. When you shine through and when you let yourself come out and you're authentic, you don't offend anyone. Let me backtrack 1 second. I have seen in 3 years some of the most wonderful people leave this organization, and not because they couldn't do it, but because there was something that was missing. There was something that in them they truly believed just couldn't cut it. They gave me excuse after excuse, and I'm not saying this to be mean, I'm saying this to be honest. The excuses include things like, I don't have time, I have a lot on my plate, I'm not doing well, I'm not healthy, I'm not at my transformation, how can I inspire? Who's gonna listen to me? I had a tough month, I didn't hit Success Club. I failed. I hear it time and again. And I can tell you, my first diamond, losing her is still something that bothers me to this day, because I feel like I failed her. I'm going to make your excuse invalid. I'm going to tell you why your excuse is invalid. And it's not to boast and it's not to brag. It is just to be honest. And that is, I built this business while I was teaching full-time with a 2-year-old. I built this business when I was pregnant with my second son, Dom. I built this business when I had Dom as a newborn, and I also had my 4-year-old at the time. I built this business when I was diagnosed, battled, and beat stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. There is not an excuse in my mind that is ever valid enough for anyone to not be successful at this business. If you don't want to be successful at this business, it comes down to 2 things. You don't have a why, and you don't have a vision. That is what's going to change your business. When you have those 2 things together, you're going to blow it out of the water. And you're going to inspire so many people, and that idea in the back of your head that I might offend someone because I asked them to join my challenge group, it's gone. And how do we get that to go away? We are confident. we stand tall and we believe in these products and we believe in the people that are standing here in front of us telling us their stories. We believe in someone like Joey, who if Christina was like, gosh, she might be offended if I asked, wouldn't have the transformation. Or Christina, if I wouldn't have kept nagging her, whatever it might be, we get rid of all of that because we just believe that every story matters, that our story is valid, and our story is going to make a difference, not to hundreds of people, but to one person, because that's all that matters. So let's start by our mindset. That's really where we really have to begin this whole thing. Our mindset and what we believe is so important to this business, because confidence is where we continue. Confidence is what makes us overcome those tough months, those failures that Michaeline was talking about, those moments of doubt that we have, those posts that we're able to put out that Taylor was talking about, the invite, the confidence that Christina and Allison are talking about, those relationships, and our success of our challenge groups that we had Amanda talking about as well. All of that comes into play when we feel good about ourselves. So how do we feel good about ourselves? How do we get to that point? Well, it starts with a couple things. It starts by changing your mindset. And you actually kind of, and I remember, I think it was Michaeline, it was on this call, and she talked about how, like, before she goes into inviting someone to a challenge group, she looks in the mirror. Do you remember this?
Yes,
And she looks into the mirror and she goes, I have got this. I have got this going on. You know, they want to be a part of my team. And she would almost make herself look in the mirror and say, I am good. I am worth it. People should want to be on this team. I'm going to tell you, there is not a team. I don't care what team or how much money other teams make. There is not a team that I could possibly be a part of that is better than this team. And that is because of the heart. And I am proud of that. I am proud of that every day. But you have to almost fake it. You have to almost say to yourself, I am just going to pretend like I am the person that I want to become until finally I just become that person, and that person is my truth. That is just my truth. So whether it's in your transformation, or whether it's in your business, or whether it's in your spiritual journey, whatever that journey is, you have to pretend that you're already that person. So how do you do that? You got to start visualizing. What's that person look like? If you have a monetary goal, and we're going to talk about why it's okay to have a monetary goal in a business, because a lot of people don't want to talk about that. You have to truly believe that you can be that person. And you have to have such a clear vision of what that is going to be like for you when you become that person. So when I think about those things, actually let me get back to that real quick. So the second one is one that is kind of a harsh truth. But I have people tell me all the time, you know, Katy, so what's your goal? You know, what do you want to be able to achieve this month? What do you want to be able to do? And they'll say, I think I'm going to try to hit Success Club, or, I think I'm gonna go for Diamond, maybe in like 8 months. You don't have the right to proclaim your goal and then do nothing about it. You don't. Because what happens is when you start to put skin in the game and you start to say, this is what I want to be able to do, and you tell your upline or your success partner, whoever it is, what you want, they start to believe in you, and they start to have this faith in you, and they start to put some skin in the game for you. And then so when you start to say you want those things and do nothing to achieve those things, all of a sudden that relationship you have with that person starts to taper off a little bit. You don't have the right to say you want something and then do nothing about it. And then just go, well, why didn't I lose those 20 pounds? Well, it must have been because the challenge group stuck. That's not what it is. Come on, we know that. If you really want something, you've got to put some skin in the game. You've got to say why you want it, and you've got to really start to visualize what it looks like when you achieve it. I can't, and this is something that Mike and I instill in our son Nick. And it started last year when I was going through chemo, and no matter how bad it got, we want our kids to grow up never using that word, I can't. I'm not gonna lie, I swear like a soldier sometimes. I say things in front of my son that I probably shouldn't say, but one thing my son doesn't hear me say ever is I can't. He saw what I went through last year. Yeah, he was 4 years old. He was young. Maybe he won't remember a lot of it, but one thing that he saw was a mom who never said she couldn't do it. And never said it. I didn't care how sick I was. I could do it. And so now my son, he's learning how to ride a bike, and we actually, as parents, get kind of worked up when he says, I can't ride it, I'm gonna fall, I'm gonna get your butt on the bike, you're gonna ride, you're gonna pedal, you're gonna go. And if I hear you say I can't, I'm gonna force you down that hill right now. Okay, so maybe it's not the best parenting advice. I mean, that's just how we go, because we don't want our kids to feel like they can't. And I don't want you guys to think you can't because you have a few obstacles in your way. Because think about what your obstacles are. I mean, it's here. It's not out there, it's here. Best advice I ever got from Kim Carver. You keep hearing this name, and I'm telling you, like, he is the Coach Whisperer. They've nicknamed him that, and he's an amazing man. But one thing he said to a couple of my Diamond coaches, I don't remember when it was. This was back in November. It was a while ago at the Marriott. He said to the Diamond coaches, he said, you know, no matter how bad your day gets or how many things you fail at or how many things you tried and they just didn't work out, you need to go to bed every night and you need to be able to say, I won the day. What does that mean? You have to admit to one thing you did well. I can fail at a lot of things. I can screw up a lot of things. Mike and I are going to be honest, like, we had one of the worst days with our kids yesterday. It was a tough day. They were tough. But you know what we did? We sat on our porch and we just connected. Him and I together about the good things and the things that we're doing right, and that's how you win the day. When you figure out what was the one thing I did. Did I have a post and I got a like from a new person and one person messaged me and said, because of you, I didn't give up. That's winning the day. Did you finally achieve that one success club point because you have been working for months to sell a challenge pack? You won the day. Did you rank advance because you wanted to rank advance and you know how good it feels? You won the day. What is a win to you in your organization, and why does that win matter to you? But never go to bed feeling defeated, because when you go to bed feeling defeated, you're not living a very good life. That's when people quit. That's when they leave. But when you go to bed and you say, gosh, you know, I got this message from that girl. She's not even in one of my challenge groups. She never even bought anything, but she liked my post, and she told me she lost a couple pounds. You just won the day. Go to bed with a win every night. You can go ahead and so there's a lot of notes here, and I'm going to kind of go over them really, really quick. But do you remember at the beginning of this conversation when I was telling you about the coaches and how I was like, give me some of your strengths? And they were like, yeah, like, I'm not going to do it right now, but I'll get to it at some point. You know, creating the visual and having the why. You know, when I get on the phone with new coaches, they're often like, oh, because, you know, I had a great transformation, or because I want to get my Shakeology cheaper, or because I want to help people. How many of you hear from a new coach and they're like, I want to help people? Yeah? It's like the standard answer, right? Well, your why has to go deeper than that. You know, I really pull this out of people. It takes me a while sometimes, and they know when they're sugarcoating a little bit. But I know that why is really, really important. When you figure out your why, you need to start visualizing what it's going to be like when you actually achieve the goals that you're setting for yourself. So whether those goals are connected to a rank or an income or, you know, a freedom of some sort, you need to know what it looks like in your life to be able to live that way. So how do you do that? How do you get to the point where you're like, I can visualize this? You have to know what your strengths are. Okay, so Katy, as the teacher, is going to backtrack for 1 second. And teachers, you're probably going to feel me on this. You know what irks me, what drives me crazy, is when you sit in meeting after meeting with parents and we're drilling into the parents' head the things that the kids aren't doing right or the things that the kids struggle with. So for example, you have a student and they aren't good at math, and we keep saying, well, we need to do this type of program with them to help them with math skills, and we need to really focus more on math and drill math and math and math and math, and you get to the point where you're like, but what are they good at? You know, what are their strengths? And not those like sugar-coated, here's the IEP, these are the strengths we're gonna list. Like, what is your kid good at? If you can't identify your own strengths, You have to find people who are going to help you identify them. If you have coaches or if you have challengers, ask them. Say, hey, I'm just curious. Like, what do you think I'm good at? What do I provide for you? Like, what am I good at? It's gonna feel weird the first time you ask them, like, what am I good at? But what's gonna happen is you're gonna ask, and then you're gonna start to see overlaps. You know, if you ask one person, chances are the next person's gonna say something similar, and then another person, and then another person, and all of a sudden it's gonna connect. Wow, I'm really good at this. Maybe I should embrace that. Maybe I should do more with that. So for example, so my coach in the organization, she's the top coach. The girl is a curriculum guru. Like, she lives for organizing. She thrives on organizing everything. That is her thing. So whenever I was forever trying to like be like, I'm like just not as good as her. I can't do what she's doing. And then I realized that wasn't my strength. My strength isn't organization. My strength isn't follow-ups. It's just not. I'm not very good at it. Then I started to realize that every time I spoke, people like listened, and people would come back to me and say, wow, like, thank you for that. And I started to embrace speaking. I started to embrace it a little bit more and start doing it a little bit more. And then all of a sudden my confidence started to go up and my business started to go up. And so what I'm saying is you have to know what your strengths are and think about how those strengths can apply to your business. So whatever those are, and if you don't know what they are, you've got to get in check with that. You have to figure out what your strengths are in this, and not just in this business, just in your life, what they are, what you're good at. But apply them to the business. And once you apply those to the business, then you've got to start thinking like a CEO, and you've got to start saying to yourself, so what are my goals? What's my monetary goal? Guys, I know you have a heart, you want to help people. But you have to be okay with saying, I want to make money at this too. You have to be okay with that. You can't keep giving heart to everybody and wanting to help everybody and change everybody's life and not get commission for it, because you're going to burn out. We all know you want to help people, but don't burn yourself out by just constantly letting other people into your life who are sucking the energy out of you, who aren't invested in you. Because when they're not invested in you, they just don't believe yet. Your job is to make them believe. It truly is. Because you and I both know these products, Joni, Christina, all of us, we are living proof that this works. I mean, this is just a June day in Pittsburgh with 30 coaches from the KB. I mean, that is a very small number. The other part of it is, and I don't think anyone else has really ever talked about this. I talk about this a lot with Taylor, but what is your fill the cup goal? When we talk about winning the day, when you go to bed at night, what fills your cup? What makes you feel good? What lifts you up? What inspires you? What makes you want to jump out of bed the next morning and do it again? You have to know what that is. You have to know what fills your cup in this business. And it's probably not the same thing as the person sitting next to you. What fills my cup is not the same as what fills Melanie's cup. You know, what fills my cup is doing things like this, talking to you guys about what you can do in your business to help you grow your business. And then connect the two. All right, so if I'm really good at speaking, or I'm really good at organization or running challenge groups, how can that connect back to the monetary goal I want to set for myself? And how can that connect to what fills my cup? So what do I need to do to get there? Well, that's where we get to work, guys. That's where we start creating those goals for ourselves, and we start making things happen. Control the controllable. What is in your control? The number of people you invite. The business activity tracker. I'm not kidding, that thing works. When you use it, it works. It's in the back office, I promise you. Tracking your business. Think about the things that are in your control versus the things that are standing in your way. What you can control is always the number of people you invite, the number of people you talk to, the number of people you reach out to, the number of referrals you ask for. Always, always, always in your control. Life circumstances, not in your control. Are you going to let it be your excuse, or are you going to let it be your message? What actions do I need to take? And The one thing that I think people miss in the visualization activity is how would I celebrate my success? Sometimes we get a goal and we hit it and we just jump to the next. You know, especially you Reds, I know how you guys are. You're like, I need to know what I need to do next. I need to know. You need to take some time and you need to celebrate the things that you do right. Those little victories. And don't just set a big goal 8 months down the road that you want to achieve. Set one for this week. Win the day tonight. Set something that you can do today, this week, this month, whatever, short term, that's ultimately going to help you get closer to that long-term goal. So apply it today. I'm going to talk about belief statements on the next one. You're going to make like the solar system and plan it out. Do you get that? We're going to drive towards daylight. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more on next month's call because I don't want to take too much time up. But basically what that means is you focus on the little goals on the road to the next goal. So Taylor, again, explained this to me because I didn't understand it at first. And she kept saying, you know, Katie, when you were going through chemo, you didn't think of the fact that chemo wasn't done until August. You went through each treatment and you would say, I need to get through this treatment and I'm going to focus just on treatment number 6 or just on treatment number 7 or just on treatment number 8 instead of focusing on how many more I had to get through, how many more times I was going to have my head in a toilet, how many more times I was going to be sick. Instead it was like, okay, I just need to focus on right here and right now. You do the same thing with your business. Focus on the goals you can get to right now, what you can do right now. Network with other CEOs and find connections. By other CEOs, I mean, you know, your friend who sells Pampered Chef or Tastefully Simple, connect with them. Use each other's contacts, you know, use each other's networks to meet more people. Put each other in connection with other people. Most people don't think to do those kind of things, but they're really actually very, very helpful. Ask permission. Can I hold you accountable? I think I say it to Michaeline. I keep calling you out. I'm sorry. Can I hold you accountable? Whenever she's like, I have this goal, I'm like, all right, how's that goal coming, Michaeline? And then she gets angry at me because I hold her accountable, or you do the same thing.
You treat me like a 4-year-old pushing down the hill.
I do. Stop your whining. All right. And then the big thing is just do for one what you want to be able to do for everyone. You know, when you post, think about just posting for one person. Post for that one person that matters. Like, oh gosh, Kristen, I looked at your transformation and I was like, man, that is good. Like, if I was looking at that and didn't have a coach, I would be like, I need to call Kristen. Because the way she worded it and the way she said it is something that just so stood out to me. You can go to the next slide. All right, so this is something I did with my kiddos in school, and it actually works really, really well. Do you believe? Like, what do you believe? When you go to bed at night, like, what are your beliefs? And I'm not talking in the religious standpoint. It's just, what do you believe for this business? So I had this activity that I would have them do. It was called the This I Believe activity, and we had to apply it to things as 7th graders at the time that they believed in, you know. And I think about how every CEO, and you all are a CEO, it doesn't matter what rank, doesn't matter. You have to believe in something. You have to have a belief statement, because once you have that statement, it becomes such a passion. That passion like just catches fire and it just ignites. And so I think about the Every Sweat Matters, right? So we started with, you know, every story matters, because it does, and every life matters, and every one matters. Every sweat matters. This is why the Knockout Brigade is that team that sweats for other people who cannot. This is why the Knockout Brigade raised $11,000 in t-shirt sales. Because we believe, like it's a belief. You have to believe in something, and it might not be related to what I believe in, and that's okay. But what do you believe in? With your Beachbody business, with your personal transformation, how does that connect to an actual statement? Put it in a sentence form. Mine are this: I believe that every sweat matters, every story matters, every life matters. You hear that from me all the time, and I believe it. You know, when you look at me, I believe that in my heart, because I've seen it. The second is that passion is contagious. And I even just said it, and I didn't even realize I said it because it's just so ingrained in my head. I believe my purpose every day is to just make an impact on one person's life. Every day, daily. When I do that, I win the day. I go to bed, I sleep well, I crash. Success comes only if I am willing to bet on myself. I've been going back and forth with my mentor at Beachbody about the goal. And I think one person knows what my goal is for the end of the year, because I'm scared to death of it. I'm scared to admit it. I'm scared to say I want it, and I'm not even going to say it because I'm still scared. And I shouldn't be. But I know that I'm not going to achieve that goal unless I would put my cards on the table and I would bet on myself. Because nobody in here should bet on me until I'm ready to bet on myself. And I'm not ready yet because I'm not there. And I admit it. I mean, I'm human. I admit that I am not ready to bet on myself. Saying I'll try means that you have accepted failure before you have put any skin in the game. How often, guys, I have talked to many of you or other people who have said, yeah, I'm gonna try to hit Success Club, and I'm doing this like I'm on the phone because I'm like always like, you don't say I'll try.
You said it to me once.
I know, and I think I called you out on it. I'm sure I called you out.
I never said I'd try again.
But saying I'll try is basically the same saying it's okay for me to fail. Think about it. Like anytime you say I'm gonna try, you basically just put the front on that, like, yeah, I've already said I'm failing at it. I'm gonna fail at it. But when you say, oh, I will hit Success Club, oh, I will do it, all of a sudden it changes the way that you talk to yourself, the way you believe in yourself, and then before you know it, you actually do it because you believe it. But anytime you say I'll try, you said, oh, it's okay to fail. Good. I dare you to put a stamp on a deadline, on a goal that you want, and say every freaking day, I am going to do this. I am going to do this. And you wake up every morning and say, I am going to be, and I'm just going to use a ring, I am going to be a diamond by, I don't know, June 30th. I am going to do it. I am going to do it. And every day your mind starts to work in ways to make it happen. Before you know it, it happens. And maybe, just maybe, it doesn't happen on that exact day. But as soon as you keep saying it, man, it's crazy. You're seeing it right now with Liz. It's crazy. You can go to the next slide.
She won't quit.
So I'm not going to spend that much time on this, but our team, right? It's heart. We're all heart. We want to help people. We're going to work on the hustle. We're going to work on that together a little bit as a team. We're going to put some more skin in the game. We're going to put the cards on the table. We're not going to say I'll try anymore because that's BS. It doesn't work. It's not flying anymore. And now you all know. So when you hear someone in the KV say, oh, she just said I'll try, Katie's over there banging her head off. You know it to be true. There's a book, it's called The Go-Giver, and when I read it, first of all, it was like, it's a fiction book, and I didn't know how it related to my Beachbody business. So when I picked up the book, I was like, I'm not going to read this. And then again, somebody said, no, Katie, this is your book. Like, this is about your team. This is what you're creating. And I was like, this is not me. This is the team. You know, I never look at my business as mine. I look at it as ours. 100%. And that's what the Go-Giver is. And the book is all about these 5 theories. And I can't remember who the author is because honestly I read it in probably an hour and a half. But there are these 5 laws, and I thought about all of the ladies that presented. So the one is that the law of value. You're making daily deposits in the bank of others' lives and the happiness of others. And I think of Taylor in her post and how she doesn't care, you know, what somebody thinks of her. She just knows that every day those posts are going to inspire someone or they're going to help someone in some way. You know, I think of the law of influence, of placing others' interests first. I think of what Allison was talking about, how she's like, you know, I really focus on the relationships. I work on building those relationships after I've already invited them because that's really important. I'm putting their interests first. So if the 21-day fix isn't working for them, I'm not going to try to sell them the 21-day fix. I think of the law of compensation. If you want more success, find a way to serve more people. Look at what Michaeline is creating. Look at the team and the dynamic that she's creating. She doesn't stop because, you know, she's experiencing some success personally. She's having her team duplicate the same thing, and what's happening is because she's teaching them, they're growing. And because they're growing, she in turn is growing. But it doesn't come without first giving a lot of heart to what she does. That's the only way to do it. It's not done with commission. What am I going to make from this? Is what can I help them achieve? The law of authenticity. Click the unfollow button. You don't like how I do it? That's fine. I mean, Amanda, like, look at her. Like, she creates the team. This is what is working. This is what works for us. And if it isn't going to work for me or somebody else, that's okay. But I am 100% confident in how I'm doing it. I'm 100% okay with how I'm running things because this is how I'm working. And that's what I want for all of you to do. Take snippets of everything that they've given you tonight, but don't feel like you got to change everything and lose you in the process. Keep doing you. You guys rock. Do you. That's what works. Be authentic. And the law of receptivity. It is a natural result of giving. You just showed us with Joni. Like, just focus on helping. Just focus on helping, and you will receive the rewards. I didn't focus last year on helping hundreds of people. I focused on posting and working out because working out was helping me mentally. And my transformation and my story of how I was going through chemo was in turn inspiring other people. But I was just focused on what was good. Like, that's it. And just focus on one. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing and how fast everybody else is going. Guys, this business isn't going anywhere. If you read Carl's post, he talked about what we are doing and that we're doing it the right way. Bless other people with this opportunity. Bless them with it. And if they don't want it, that's okay. Don't cross them off the list. They might come back. Keep going. Never give up. That's all I got. Let's go have some margaritas.